Breaking news tonight, Lexington police say they've made an arrest for the murder of a mother. Police say she was found dead in her backyard.
We're proud of Eric. We're proud of the way he lived his life.
How family, friends, and police paid tribute tonight to a state trooper killed in the line of duty nearly a year ago.
A group of cyclists rode hundreds of miles to honor fallen paramedics, including one from Central Kentucky.
WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening to you. Major developments tonight in the investigation into the death of a Lexington mother. Police have now charged her boyfriend with murder.
Lexington police say they found 43-year-old Amy Kogel dead this morning outside her home on Pickney Drive near Mason-Headley Road. And tonight they announced they arrested 45-year-old William Pomeroy, seen here, who lived with her. Kristen Kennedy is at the live desk tonight with the breaking details. Kristen?
Sam, this is a man now charged with murder and tampering with physical evidence. Neighbors we talked to today were relieved to hear police had someone in custody, but they know that won't bring their friend back. Friends are calling the loss of Amy Kogel tremendous.
She lived life to the fullest, and it's devastating.
Mary Gibson says the mother, whose body investigators found in the backyard of her home, was raising 3 children and leading 2 Girl Scout troops.
It's devastating. I mean, just a load for her 3 kids, but now we also have 2 Girl Scout troops that don't have a leader. And that's going to have to be explained to why they don't have a leader.
The coroner says Kogel died from multiple gunshot wounds. Neighbors say they heard those shots fired, 9 of them in all, on the property early Thursday morning. One woman who didn't want to go on camera described what she did when she heard the shots.
Literally duck and cover because it was really close to the house, and double check, call 911, make sure they knew to come out.
Investigators didn't find Kogel until Friday morning, and by Friday evening they had made an arrest. They've charged Kogel's boyfriend, William Pomeroy, with her murder. Friends worry for the 3 children she's left behind.
Amy doted on her 3 children. They were her world. She would have done anything for them.
Investigators say Pomeroy turned himself in this afternoon. At the live desk, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Kristen, thank you. Funeral arrangements for Kogel are pending. Police have not said what they think led up to the murder.
The weekend is off to a wet start as part of the Bluegrass saw some heavy rain tonight, and it looks like even more rain could be on the way tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look now at your forecast. Chris?
Yes, soggy to say the least out there on this Friday, courtesy of low pressure that is right on top of the Ohio Valley now. Good news, though, at least the heaviest band of rain is off to our east and northeast right now. Bad news, this system has a few more showers. It's going to pull in on the backside of that low as it continues to work away from central and eastern Kentucky. So we're going to watch this area in the southern parts of Indiana to throw some rains our way a little deeper into tonight and certainly on and off through the day tomorrow. I do not see just wall-to-wall rain each and every hour, but I'll tell you the chances for showers certainly increasing as the day goes on. Future radar for the overnight into the first few hours of our Saturday. When you wake up, everything is in decent shape, but notice how we start to see some of those raindrops developing as we get toward the midday hour. Early tomorrow morning, we're right around 50. Anyone is fair game to see a ray of sunshine tomorrow, and then the showers kind of kick in, maybe a rumble of thunder. Temperatures that will stay in the 60s yet again. So Saturday, showers and a summer surge. Hour-by-hour forecast, tracking it all at 11:13.
Chris, thank you. It has been nearly a year since a Kentucky State Police trooper died in the line of duty, and tonight, family, friends, and police remember Trooper Eric Christman.
He died in a crash in western Kentucky, but he grew up in Anderson County, and that's where he was honored as part of National Police Officers Memorial Week. Garrett Weimer has the story new at 11.
And no heartache shall come, no more clouds in the sky.
The rain let up as they gathered round Eric Christman's grave. The emotions did not.
All that we gather here with friends and family. Well, every young man that grew up in this county.
Police honored Trooper Christman by placing a wreath at his grave, a touching tribute to their fallen brother.
They told us from the day one when Eric was killed that they'll never forget him, and They seem to have proven that to me.
Police say it's important never to forget the fallen. That's why they lay wreaths at their graves every year.
The faces may change, but we will always honor our fallen, meaning I may not be here, but somebody will be here to do the same thing and to carry the flag and honor these fallen troopers.
For that, this family is thankful, forever honoring a man who summed up his priorities in a simple statement now etched on his grave.
God first, family second, and everyone's family.
Knowing his service and sacrifice will never be forgotten.
I want him to be remembered as a person that puts everyone in front of himself. And Eric truly did that. He did that with everybody that he knew.
In Anderson County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
The state troopers from the Post 12 also placed wreaths tonight at the Anderson County graves of Trooper Bobby McCowan and Trooper Harold Toll.
Hundreds of cyclists rode into the Washington, D.C. area tonight to honor fallen paramedics around the country. And one of them rode for John Mackey, a Jessamine County paramedic who died in the line of duty last year. As Kelly Meyer tells us, Mackey's family was on hand for tonight's ceremony.
They rode for family. They rode for friends. Some rode for complete strangers. But once the journey was through, they were strangers no more.
Some of us will travel great distances to meet the families of the ones that we ride for.
James Laidlaw rode from Boston to Virginia for the EMS Memorial Bike Ride. He did it in memory of John Mackey from Nicholasville, Kentucky, who was struck by a car and killed last November. But Laidlaw wasn't alone.
With over 100 riders, some of whom pedaled over 1,000 miles, all to bring a special gift to the families that awaited their arrival.
James never met the Mackey family until now.
To give you this one. It's wonderful to know that even outside of his home state, people still see and acknowledge the sacrifice that he made.
Janine's family was right by her side during the emotional ceremony.
There's John Mackey. He'll always have that place in my heart that nobody will ever be able to fill.
But John's memory lives on in this ride and in the form of a new law that extends line-of-duty benefits to Kentucky paramedics.
Even after death, he's taking care of his EMS family.
And in return, they're taking care of him.
It really means a lot to know that somebody out there does care and that all those thankless hours weren't thankless hours. They were hours that are appreciated by everyone else that, that does the same job.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Kelly Meyer, WKYT.
John Mackey will be among those honored during a formal ceremony in Washington tomorrow night.
The NRA, the National Rifle Association, began its annual convention in Louisville today, and presumptive Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump was one of the featured speakers. Trump received the NRA's endorsement today. During his speech, he said he would end gun-free zones. And he wasted no time attacking Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, claiming she would get rid of the Second Amendment if elected.
Hillary wants to disarm vulnerable Americans in high-crime neighborhoods. Whether it's a young single mom in Florida or a grandmother in Ohio, Hillary wants them to be defenseless.
Hillary Clinton responded on Twitter tonight saying Trump is wrong. She said, quote, "We can uphold Second Amendment rights while preventing senseless gun violence."
Country music star Eddie Montgomery says someone created a fake Facebook page claiming to be him. Montgomery says the person behind the page used his name to send private messages to women, and he says it's frustrating that someone would do that.
And said I was looking for women and, call my number and let me know who you are and all this stuff. And I'm single and I'm very, very happily married.
Our Monique Blair called the number listed in one of those private messages. No one answered, but she later got a text message from that number. The person on the other end first said he was Darius Rucker, another country artist, before finally claiming to be Montgomery. After Monique said she worked for WKYT and she had interviewed Montgomery, the person said he didn't want to talk anymore. The fake Facebook page in question has since been removed. Montgomery said he would look into pressing charges if any other fake pages pop up.
Tonight, more wreckage from the EGYPTAIR plane that crashed has been found in the Mediterranean Sea.
The flight was headed from Paris to Cairo when it went down early yesterday. Patrol boats with sonar are now trying to find the jet's data recorders. Jonathan Vigalotti has the latest.
Search teams are looking for more wreckage from EGYPTAIR Flight 804. An EGYPTAIR official says the Egyptian military discovered body parts, luggage, and airplane seats on Friday. The European Space Agency also spotted what could be a mile-long oil slick in the Mediterranean. CBS News has learned the jet transmitted messages that smoke was detected in the aircraft before the crash. 66 people were on board when the plane swerved wildly and disappeared from radar early Thursday. Victims' relatives gathered at this mosque in Cairo for a prayer service. This man's cousin was on board the flight. He says this is very hard for the family. Egyptian authorities believe terrorism brought down the plane, but CBS News has learned so far there's been no credible claim of responsibility. EGYPTAIR's chairman says the search area encompasses a 40-mile radius in the Mediterranean, about halfway between here in Crete and Alexandria, Egypt. Paris investigators have begun to check and question all ground staff at Charles de Gaulle Airport who may have a link to the flight. The U.S. and several European countries are also helping in the search effort, but finding the flight recorders in water as much as 10,000 feet deep will be difficult. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Crete.
A French naval ship equipped with sonar that can find the flight recorder's beacon underwater is on its way, but the trip could take 3 days. Some tense moments around the White House today after a shooting nearby. The Secret Service says one of its agents shot a man who raised a pistol as he approached a White House security checkpoint. Witnesses say the man was told repeatedly to put down his gun, but he refused. The White House was put on lockdown after the shooting, but it was later lifted. President Obama was not at the White House at the time, but Vice President Joe Biden was there. Law enforcement sources say the man who was shot is Jesse Oliveri of Pennsylvania. He's said to be in critical condition tonight.
The debate over which restrooms transgender people can use continued in Letcher County today. Earlier this week, county leaders announced they're exploring the possibility of banning transgendered people from using the restrooms they identify with, even if it goes against any future federal regulation. Today's fiscal court meeting was supposed to focus on the county's budget, but the restroom debate quickly came up.
Transgender people are part of this community, and we should be erecting laws that protect their civil liberties, not laws that erect them.
I just wish this separated here, and everybody's equal under God's eyes. Everybody's equal, but I think they just a line ought to be drew between the bathrooms, is what I think.
Fiscal court members say they're waiting on the county attorney to provide some guidance on the issue before making a move.
On this rainy Friday night, many people stayed inside eating some of the best food in central Kentucky. The annual Taste of the Bluegrass was held at Keeneland's Keene Barn. It featured food and drinks from more than 60 central Kentucky restaurants, breweries, and wineries. The event raises money for God's Pantry Food Bank. And despite the rain, some fast cars were on display tonight at the Courthouse Plaza in downtown Lexington. The annual Maserati Mingle featured Maseratis, Ferraris, Porsches, and other classic cars. And there was also an after party at the 21C Museum Hotel tonight. The event serves as a warm-up for the Keeneland Concours d'Elegance weekend, which will be July 14th through July 17th this year.